and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, I make 2 videos a week that are all about fashion, beauty, travel and lifestyle. So if that's what you're interested in, make sure you stick around by subscribing down below and giving this video a thumbs up. So today I have got my most requested thing ever. I will be showing you guys how I edit my pictures for my Instagram and for my blog. Mainly for Instagram though, because I feel like that's more widely used. I've got so many messages all from you guys wanting to see how I edit my pictures, what presets I use and everything, and I'm going to be spilling the beans on exactly how I edit my pictures and the kind of process to get it to Instagram ready for you guys. For a few months now, I'd say since March now, every time I upload a picture on Instagram I do a before and an after, and you guys are really loving that, to see what kind of work I'm putting into my images to make it as perfect as I want it to look for my feed and everything. I'm not saying that I edit pictures really well. I'm no photographer. I've never studied anything about photography. I'm really enjoying photography and taking the photos all the way down to the editing of the photos. And these are all things that I have taught myself. I've never had any help by anyone. I'm the sort of person that sits up at 2 AM when they can't sleep editing photos and trying new things on like previous photos I've edited, and this is literally how I've kind of learned how to edit. And I edit all of my pictures now on Lightroom. I used to use VSCO or Visco Cam as some people call it, but ever since I've started to use Lightroom I've kind of forgotten about that, and Lightroom is solely the app that I use. So I pay for it monthly. I pay for Lightroom and Photoshop, and I think it's about £10 to £15 a month. I can get Lightroom on my laptop and also on my phone that way as well. But this is my first time ever doing anything like this, so I'm going to try and screen grab and place it here, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to go into editing my picture now. Let's start recording. So fingers crossed this works now. So I'm just going to start by editing my pictures, and the first thing that I like to do is go into light and press the curve tool, and then I always lift from the left side up and then from the right side down, and then in between these lines I slightly go up, and then I bring this one down slightly. It's come down a little bit too much. So all this does is play with the kind of shadows in this photo, and it softens the image. So that's it before and after, and it's just a lot more of a softer image. The next thing I like to go is into the red curve, and that just brings the redness or the greeniness of the photo out. But I like my photos to be a little bit warmer, so I always go onto the red side, and then I also do the same with the blue, and that just makes the picture a little bit more pinky purpley and a lot more of like a softer colour, so the rest of the colours aren't all popping out as much. And then I press done. The next thing I like to do is go into the blacks, and if you go like that you can see that all the blackness are brought down, or you can bring them all up. I like to go in the middle between here, so like around the 30 to 40 mark. You still have some dark points, but it's not too dark. And then I like to also bring the whites down, otherwise if I go up that way it's really bright and kind of whitewashed, so I like to bring them down slightly. Then I also go into shadows and I play with the shadows again. So can you see, I like this one to be a little bit less, because if I go like that it's a bit like, whoa, like what's going on? So just play with it slightly, because you don't want your photo to look too edited, but you want it to look like obviously something has been done to the photo. And then I leave the highlights and I go up to the contrast, and I bring the contrast up slightly, so that you can still have a differentiation between all the colours and all the shapes. And I don't press exposure. So this is the image of before and after, and I'm really happy with how that's going so far. Personally, I really like to play with the colours of the image as well. So I go back and I press the thermometer, and then I go to the temperature. And if I go this way, it makes it a really cool image, or if I go this way, it makes it quite warm. So I want it to be quite warm, so I'm going to go to like 14 is pretty good actually. Yeah, that's really nice. And then I also bring the tint up very slightly. So if I bring the tint that way, it makes it more green, and this way is a lot more pink. So yeah, around there. I think 13 on each is pretty good It's not too pink, but it's not too yellowy orange as well at the same time. And then I go into the mix. And here you can select a specific colour that is in that photo frame and edit that colour. So I'm going to go straight to purple, and I'm going to change the hue of this. So if I go this way, it makes them, if you can see at the bottom, a lot more blue, and if I go this way, it makes them more purple. And then I'm going to go into like the magenta colour and do the same, see which way is better. I think like that. And then I'm going to see if there's any blues in this image that can be sueded a little bit. So I'm going to, this changes the colour of my jeans. So I want my jeans to be slightly pinker. So there we go. Yeah, I think that looks really good. And then we can go and adjust my glasses to make them a little bit more pink by selecting that red there. So if we see what that looks like before and after, there we go. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? And then I want to play with all of the greens, because as you can see, these greens are a bit like wimp. I don't know, they look a bit like they're dying or so. So I want to play around with the greens a little bit and see what we can adjust there. So I'm going to go with this and press that way. Makes it a lot more like yellowy burnt. This way makes it very, very green. So I just want it to go in between kind of. And this is mainly the grass on the floor and around my legs. And then I'm going to go into the yellow, because there's a lot of yellow across the top, and bring that to make them more green. There we go. If I go too green, it makes it kind of look a bit like fake. So I'm just going to have it like more of a natural green just there. Yeah. And then I want to go to this side here and press the selective edits. So then I use this rectangle one and I pull it all the way down, and then I pull the second layer down as well, and I go into detail and I sharpen the image slightly. And then I go into clarity, which is the one to the left, and I bring the clarity of the image slightly as well. What that does is it just kind of like makes things that's supposed to pop out, and I really, really like that about it. And then what I want to do is go back into select and then use the paintbrush tool and select all of this wisteria across the top, because if you can see, it's slightly in the sun, whereas the bottom half isn't. So I want to play around with the shadows of that, and what that does is it's just the selected area which will be affected in this image. So I'm going to go to light and I'm going to play with the shadows and kind of bring it down so that there's more shadow in that. Bring down the exposure, I guess, slightly as well, so it's not too bright compared to the rest of it. What will the contrast do? Yeah, I could bring the contrast down slightly as well. That makes it look like that area is flat as well. So I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, press OK. I do want to make it a little bit more purpley around the back. So I'm going to go back into the colours of the wheel here and turn up the saturation. So I've turned the saturation and the luminance slightly up to make it more purpley there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then again, I'm going to go back into the select edit and I'm going to select that part there and press the colour and bring this whole colour across to the purple here. Are we on purple? Where are we? Yeah. And then tint. There we go. So that kind of makes that whole area at the top look so much more purpley and so much more vibrant. I'm really, really happy with the way that that has come out. I think that looks really good. And look, can you see there's a little flamingo at the back there? So cute. But there is one more thing that I do really want to show you guys. It's like going to be a quick sneak peek at how I've done it. If you guys would like a more in-depth video on how I edited this next picture, please do let me know in the comments down below and I'll try and make a video on that as well. This is the before image and this is the after image. I am so proud of this. Look, I've changed the colour of my top. Like, wow. Incredible. So what I did with this image is I selected the bra area on this, and I edited this again in Lightroom. I went into the select button here. On the bikini top area, it's got two little dots, and those areas I did the selective tool, and took a very, very long time doing this. And to be honest, it was kind of one of those 2 AM editing sessions gone right, to be honest, because I'm so proud of this. And what I did with that is I went into the select button, the paintbrush tool, and I selected as finely as possible as I could. And then I went into color and I brought the saturation all the way down. So if you go that way, it makes it more pink, and that way is more down. If I can select this back one, it would be better. There we go. So this one brings it up and this one brings it all the way down. So once I'd done that, I went into Facetune. So I saved the image like that and I went into Facetune. In Facetune, I went to the whiten tool and I zoomed all the way in, and I went into all of these nooks and crannies and just whitened this whole area. And I'm just going to do it really, really quickly for you guys. And it's not going to be perfect because I went back into this about 2 or 3 times. Can you see the difference already? And then once I'd made that all white, I went back into Lightroom. And this is the finished outcome that I really, really liked. So what I done here was I played around with the colours on this one. Now I went into the temperature, and I still wanted it to be quite warm instead of quite cool. So I went into that and I turned the saturation down slightly so that the water wasn't too yellow. And then I played around with the greens and the blues in this image just so that it made it a lot more vibrant and pretty. If you guys would like to see a full version of how I edited this specific image, please leave me a comment down below and I will do it for you guys. That is how I edit my pictures using Lightroom for Instagram. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And if you do want to see more editing pictures, let me know in the comments as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!